Now, I seen in 2000 was when he started coming around death row. Now, I guess there was a situation where a fight broke out between maybe death row and Snoop or something, or
The only
something
fight
like
I
that.
was involved in, remotely close to Snoop, was Nate Dogg. It was Nate Dogg. This is where me and Big Fave from Insane met. But we was on opposing sides. That was me and Keita Rock. Me and Keita Rock from Rolling 60s. Like I told you, I was tight with other Rolling 60s before. There was no Big U around. I didn't know who that was. These was who they was, right? So, believe we was at the Santa Monica Airport Museum. It was after the Soul Train Awards. Yeah, because Don Cornelius requested, demanded we came all to the back. He didn't want us out there in the crowd, you know what I'm saying? So, shout out to Redman, because when we walked in there in the bathroom about 10, 15 deep, he squared off on us. He thought we was coming for him. You know, he squared off on us and said, nigga, I ain't no punk, and I ain't going out like that. We just kind of looked at him and laughed, because we were just coming in there to use the bathroom, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, it was a brawl out. It was a brawl. Both sides was putting in work. Shout out to Big Fave. I watched Big Fave standing up with his left, knocking him out with his right. Me and Keita Rock was on the opposite side. We was doing a lot of our damage. We on the same side. Rock was running with Death Row at the time. But yeah, you know, I keep telling people my first exec dealings with Death Row was Reggie Wright. Suge went on the street. Reggie was running Death Row. He kept Death Row afloat. He was doing the projects and cutting the checks. I've never wore a Death Row chain. I was just kind of like a sponge for the information. And Reggie didn't mind teaching me. That's why we so close today. People wonder why Reg won't go at Wack? Why? That'll never happen. That'll never happen. Our wives are in tune with each other. You know what I'm saying? You know, we go to their family functions, you know what I'm saying? You know, Reg is a friend and a brother, so through Reg is the one told Suge, yo, bro, because my homie Pooh Ryder was already over there, but he over there as a soldier. He got the Death Row chain, the tattoo on. He lived in the Death Row house, and he get the Death Row check. That wasn't never a lane I was gonna take. I already had my trucking shit going on, real estate going on. Reggie will tell you, Wack pulled up in the Benz. He was already doing his thing. You know, we could do some business, let's do some business. You know what I'm saying? So he talked to Suge, and then when Suge came home, that's how me and Suge kind of came together. But you know, I watched Suge lose it all.
You were around when he got sued?
Yeah, when that went on, when he lost the catalog, when he lost the building, lost his homes, penthouses, cars. Yeah, I watched him lose it all. I watched it. Paid for his hotel on several occasions.
I never understood why Suge lost it all. You know, like he just didn't show up to the court when he was being sued.
He said he was too gangster to go to court, civil court. Dummy.
So you're just gonna give up this big empire?
That's what he did. Half of it he had sold it already to Koch. He did a deal. The other half he lost in the
Harry O, right? Harry O.
Lydia.
Lost it, yeah.
Yeah.
Man, that's crazy, man. I always tripped out. Like, bro, how you just not gonna, just not go to court when someone's suing you? You
Think about it.
$100 million company.
When Suge went to jail, what kind of car was he driving?
I don't know exactly,
truck.
But probably an expensive one.
A pickup truck. No.
When he went to jail. You mean in '96? You talking about recently?
No, we talking about his last time.
Oh, okay.
You know, some of us know the truth. A lot of these be talking, they wasn't even around. Tell me he 33, you 33. Okay, nigga, let's do some math. Suge been gone. He was 23 when he left. He came home in 02. That means you was 10, 11, 12, 13 when he come home. You don't know what's going on. When Pac got killed, you might have been 6 or 7. Some shit like that. You don't know what's going on. You don't know. You just going on with a telling you, but you don't. And then, you know, it's a shame that people be talking. A lot of these dudes talking on the internet, Nigga, you can't go back 10 years and find their name tied to nothing, doing nothing. Unless you was in jail for some gangbang shit or some, you know, use a mule or you didn't beat a chick and threw her in the trunk like some of these clowns. You know what I'm saying? But you wasn't around. You wasn't. It's real shit. And I sit back and I see a lot of the entertainers now, because they run and kind of fizzled out, you know, they're a little more accessible. You know, you see certain people like, oh, such and such, well, that's the of 2026. That same dude, you couldn't get nowhere around that 2016 to 2006. You know what I'm saying? Where did your history start? Some whole claim to fame is gangbanging, that's cool. My claim to fame ain't gangbanging, that was a chapter in my life. I had to say, well, Wack, why you didn't go back to jail? You ain't even went back to jail. Nigga, what the f*** did you go back to jail? That's part of what? Oh, that must be part of the gangbang. Well, I ain't trying to be successful in that realm. I already was successful because I survived it. I ain't do no telling. I ain't paralyzed. I could see. I got all my limbs. You know what I'm saying? Cool. I ain't got life. And I was able to make my depart on my own time. You get what I'm saying? So, you know, some of these dudes, but they don't know no better. They like, I'm going to grow in the hood. But you know what grows in the hood? A weed. I still ain't seen it sell a bouquet of weeds. All I see them doing with weeds is burning them shits down. What is the value? That nigga, that ain't even hay. What the, you know what I'm saying? So nigga, if you want to grow in the hood, then be a weed. You know what I'm saying?
What's up? This is Cam Capone. We got more content like this coming soon. So hit that like button, subscribe, and stay locked in to Cam Capone News.